back now to politics. Hillary Clinton and his new book, Clinton Cash, out next month, but already making huge waves. Joining us now is Jim Agresti, president of the public policy think tank called Just Facts. Will this new book finally, Jim, end the mainstream media's love affair with the Clintons?
Maybe temporarily, but I think in the long term, we're still a year and a half away from the election. I think the bias will start to show as we get closer and closer to the election.
How do they go about scolding her and then coming back into her loving arms?
Well,
or vice versa.
It's just a matter of what you report, right? You can focus on one thing, and you can focus on another thing. One day they can say she's mired in this scandal, and the next day you can say she's brilliant, she's tough, because she survived the scandal.
Wait, you use the word bias. Aren't people just reporting, trying to get to the bottom of what really happened? Why is it bias?
Well, I think there's no question. A poll is recently out from the University of Indiana, I believe, showing that only 7% of reporters are Republicans. And there's no question that plays into people's worldviews, what they think is important, what they think is unimportant.
Oh, you're talking about the non-reporting of it. Okay.
Absolutely. And the angle they put on it, how they describe people. I mean, when Ted Cruz was being introduced, it's ultra-conservative, right-wing. When it came to the 2008 election, I think the media went, the major networks went about 6 months before they used the label liberal on Barack Obama.
Well, in this particular case, we already see the New York Times, Washington Post, being pretty critical already out of the gate. And those are two media outlets that you normally would not see this. Could it be that this book has really found a way to connect dots to serious allegations and maybe prove them? How would the media be able to step in and provide the typical cover if that was the case?
Well, again, they could say that's old news by the time the election rolls around. They can say, well, we covered this already. It's old news, and there's nothing more to see here. Move along.
So, Jim, if it's 93% liberals or Democrat liberals in the media, this spin is always going to be with us. I mean, isn't it sort of or shouldn't it be sort of an oath to fairness or honesty within? I mean, we all kind of taint I guess what we report. It can be tainted from time to time with personal feelings, but the idea that they had provided this much cover, particularly for this family, for so long in the face of so many allegations and missteps, really boggles the mind that they will continue to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you talk about journalism standards. The New York Times has a page of their journalism standards. And what we have documented at our institute, Just Facts, time and time again, is they do not live by those standards. And when you confront them about it, you get back, I've gotten back a nasty email from a New York Times reporter because they just don't want to deal with the reality of that they have a job to do. They're supposed to be neutral, and they're not doing that. I'll give you a prime example.
Sure.
Every year, our institute commissions a poll of voters to find out what they believe about public policy issues. And what we have found, we've done the poll 3 years, is that voters are serially misinformed about the major issues that affect them.
Misinformed
Taxes.
by the government or by the media?
I would say most of the disconnects between voters' perceptions and reality further liberal narratives advanced by the media. I'll give you a prime example, okay? 80% of the voters, regular voters in America, believe that the middle class pays a higher effective federal tax rate than the upper 1%. Right. Now, the actual ratio is the upper 1% pays 2.5 times the tax rate of the middle class.
That's stunning that 8 out of 10 believe that
8 out of 10.
Middle class.
Well, how many times have they heard President Obama say that Warren Buffett pays less taxes than his secretary? I mean, if you hear that 4,000 times, you start to believe it.
Mm-hmm. But if the media is doing their job, they're going to report the facts.
Right.
And they're not doing that. They'll act as a mouthpiece for certain narratives, but that's not being a reporter.
Well, I got to tell you, this right here, I mean, it's just looking really bad. Brett Baer's got a special coming on the Fox News channel Friday, and I think when we see that and then once the book comes out, we want to bring it back because it's going to be hard, in my mind, for the media to continue to circle the wagons like they have in the past if it's this as damning as we've heard. We appreciate that, and that's some good stats and good polls. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.